Thank you, sir. Now on to our next important segment, in which I invite all our freshers to step forward and introduce themselves to our audience. I would like to call out the names of our newly joined research scholars and postdoctoral fellows. First, I request Mr. Rohan Bhattacharya to come to the stage and introduce
everyone, Honorable Director Sir and respected dignitaries. My name is Rohan Bhattacharya. I completed my MSc in Physics from Dibrugarh University. I have my birthplace is Jorhat, that is in the state of Assam. I have joined IASST as Junior Research Fellow under Professor Sarathi Kundu Sir in the Physical Science Division. Thank you.
I now request
Honorable Director Sir, respected dignitaries, my name is Pratima Kumari and I am from Khanapara, Assam. I have completed my MSc in Geology from Assam Science and Technology University. I have joined DST as ACSIR through CSR Fellowship under Ragini Ma'am in Life Science Division. Thank you.
next I will
Good morning everyone, respected Director Sir and all the dignitaries. My name is Meena Mapun Gam. I have completed my Masters in Geology from Central University of Punjab. My home place is Majuli in the state of Assam, and I have joined as an institution Junior Research Fellow under Dr. Ragini Ma'am in Life Science Division. Thank you.
next I
Good morning everyone, Honorable Director Sir and respected dignitaries. I am Pranadhika Das. I am from Borpeta, Assam. I have completed my Masters in Chemistry from Guwahati University and I have joined ISST as institutional JRF under Dr. Kamakshi Shankar Narayan Ma'am in Physical Sciences Division.
next I would like to call upon
Good morning, respected Director Sir, Honorable Chief Guest, and all the dignitaries present here. I am Dr. Shayani Roy, and I hail from Silchar, Assam. I received my PhD degree from the Department of Biotechnology, Assam University, Silchar. And I am currently working as a DBT Research Associate under Dr. Vijay Kumar Singh, Life Science Division. But I am not a fresher here. I have joined this institute on April 2025 as a DBT RA, and my current project focuses on studying the virulence in hypervirulent Klebsiella pneumoniae, which is an emerging pathogen, and designing antivirulent strategies against them. Thank you.
next I would like to call Dr.
Good morning everyone, Honorable Director Sir and all the dignitaries present over here. I am Dr. Dhanjit Talukdar and I hail from Nalbari district of Assam. I did my PhD from Tesla University back in 2025 and I have joined as a institutional postdoctoral fellow under Dr. Biswajit Chaudhary in Physical Sciences Division. So in my PhD, I basically worked on optoelectronic materials, that is basically focuses on computational studies based on density functional theory as well as many-body perturbation theory, and currently I am working on water splitting materials using this same computational techniques. So thank you, that's it, thank you.
next I would like to call Miss Fatima to introduce herself.
Good morning everyone, Honorable Director Sir, on other dignitaries and all the faculties and my dear friends. I am Fatima. I have completed my PhD from INST Mohali. I am basically from Kollam district of Kerala. And during my PhD, I have carried out some DFT calculations in 2D materials for emerging electronics application. Over here, I have joined under Dr. Muhimabi Saharia in Physical Science Division. And currently, I will be exploring some quantum materials for spintonic application. Thank you.
institutional JRFs who have registered for the ACSIR PhD program in the January 2026 session. Ms. Rajeshri Saha, Mr. Arijit Paul, Ms. Ananya Kumar, Mr. Abhishek Sutradhar, Mr. Twisampati Das. I now request our esteemed director, Dr. Prashant K. Dhakepalkar sir, to kindly step forward and deliver the inaugural speech.
Good morning everyone. Respected chief guest for today's function, Professor Das. It's really very a great privilege for all of us that a dean from IIT is here to grace the occasion. For every student, I believe it is a dream to be associated with IITs because of the culture that they bring in terms of academics and in terms of research. And if at all the dean of academics or R&D know that you have played both the roles, and if he is here to grace this occasion and guide the students, what better occasion that can be. So thank you so much for accepting our invitation and being here. Also, I welcome all the new students who have joined this institute. Along with that, all the senior faculties and all other scientists, fellow colleagues, a very warm good morning to you all on this auspicious occasion. And I call this auspicious occasion because the new brains, the brains who are going to create future of our nation are all starting their career today. And what better occasion can this be? I also feel I want to congratulate every single one of you who have joined this institute, and today happens to be your first day officially. So congratulations. It's not very easy to get into this institute because of the difficult selection procedure. I know you have excelled academically very well. You have excelled in the interviews. You have been able to impress the faculty members, and that speaks volume about your competence, about your intelligence. And I also thank you for choosing IASST as a place for your research. Now, IASST has a very special place in our country. This is the institution which was born in 1979 when few good brains in Assam Science Society, they decided to develop a research institute which would address the need of northeastern India, whatever is required for the society here. There they wanted to create an infrastructure where a state-of-art facilities will be made available to everyone from this region who can access the best in the world in terms of infrastructure, who would contribute, which would compete with the best in the world, and which would be in the benefit of the people of northeastern states. And that is how this institute was created. And you know what? This institute was inaugurated by Dorothy Hoskins, the Nobel laureate herself. And she was a structural biologist. She had a specialization in X-ray crystallography. She elucidated structures of very many important biomolecules such as insulin, such as penicillin, many vitamins, and this actually created a path for coming up and designing new therapies for improving the health. But she did not stop there. She made it sure that she wanted to make it sure that the science is not a facility for only a select few, but it would be available all over the world. And that is why she would to travel everywhere possible. And when she came here and when she saw this beautiful place on the banks of river Brahmaputra, and she realized that these people are good, they are creating something good, she gave her blessing. And her spirit lingers today. And you would see that in this institute, where only 15 scientists who publish more than 100 papers every year with more than 4 impact factor, average impact factor, not even Indian Institute of Science can boast that in our country today. And you have found a place in this research institute, and that is really a very big fortune for you. And I'm sure you will do very, very best to make the best of this opportunity that you have for today. Now, this journey of PhD is not really a very straightforward journey. It is a journey which is filled with many ups and downs. There will be many times you would feel little worried whether you are on the right path. You would feel little worried, depressed at times, stressed at times, at crossroads with your supervisor. But then you always need to remember, why did you choose this path in the first place? Every person who has chosen this path, I believe, is because of his curiosity. Every person chose this because you had that kind of, and it starts very many basic. I mean, I believe graduation, you got MSc. Now you are pursuing a doctorate. Why it is PhD and not DPH? Why it is not DPHL, for example? When you start thinking on those lines, every single aspect in your life becomes an object of curiosity where you want to strive hard to find answers. Then that is the time you believe you have become a true researcher. And that is how PhD is. It is all about thinking deeply, critically, independently, and that is how you will develop yourself as a pragmatic and coherent researcher. Right now you are raw, incoherent students, but with the help of your guide, with the help of the infrastructure that is available, you will soon be translated into coherent and pragmatic researcher, and that is the best thing that is going to happen. It is about curiosity. There will be lot of opportunities in front of you. Every time, every day, there will be some observation, some opportunity that will knock your door. And it is the time when you grab this opportunity, how you grab this opportunity, that is going to shape your career. I would like to quote here a story of Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming had gone on a vacation. We all know he discovered penicillin. When he came back from his vacation, he saw a plate, a nutrient agar plate, on which there was a mold growing there. And he saw a zone of inhibition, and then there were bacterial colonies around surrounding that zone. So he realized that this particular mold was producing something that actually was inhibiting the growth of bacteria. Now that observation he could have just ignored and given that place for washing, but he did not do that. He identified that mold as a Penicillium notatum, and then he tried to carry out research on it for a very long time. For 10, 12 years he struggled hard. You know what? He still could not convert that discovery into a treatment. And later on, and it was a time of Second World War, the Britain was being bombarded by Germany every day, and there were not good infrastructure facilities available. They could not pursue their research. So obviously this entire research, the Oxford team, they shifted to Illinois in United States, and that is where the scientists, for example, Forey and Chain and Hitley, they all came together. And that is where the interesting part starts. In Oxford, they used to use those bed pans, for cultivation of this fungus, because it required oxygen. So the growth was only on the surface. What they did was, when they went to United States, when they started their research, they started thinking about it. Why can't I find a place, a better fungus? Is this the only fungus? And then they came up with Penicillium chrysogenum, which was growing on a fruit, cantaloupe. And then they realized, oh, this is even better, it is showing better inhibition. Then from that they started thinking about, why do I need to grow this fungus only on the surface? Can I not grow it in a submerged one? And in Britain they used to grow thousands of pans, and from that dilute form of antibiotics they were growing and then giving it for the treatment of the soldiers. Here and everywhere they were 1 liter, 2 liter pans, at the most 10 liter pans. When they shifted to United States, they started dealing with 25,000 gallons of the pot. They developed the method for sterile aeration of those pots, and they realized that if this fungus can grow on cantaloupe, then instead of using synthetic sugar and synthetic medium, can I not use something like organic medium, for example, corn strip liquor? And then they used that corn strip liquor to ferment that pot, and they started producing it in millions of liters of this fungus. And then that is where the guys like Forey, who was a biochemist, a pathologist, he actually carried out a lot of animal experiments to prove that this particular fermentation broth, when injected in mice, was able to inhibit the infection of deadly streptococci. Not only that, he developed the safetiness of that particular one. Then you have Chain, who developed an entire process for engineering part, where he took care of the pots and aeration and engineering part. And then you had Hitley there, and Hitley actually was the main brain behind this, who actually came up, brought in engineers together, brought in funds together, and that is how they worked together as a team. Now, there are many lessons to learn from this particular story. One is, no task can be done an individual while working in isolation. You have to collaborate. You have to collaborate with many people. Your research always has to be an interdisciplinary research. You have to bring in engineers, you have to bring in the chemist, you have to bring in the medical practitioner, you have to bring in the microbiologist. When all of them are working together, then only they could develop this. So you need a person who could bring in money. In this case, Forey was the person who brought in funds, who attracted lot of angel investor. Mind you, in 1940s, he brought in the angel investor to invest money into it. In that time, he brought in the engineers to work with microbiology to develop sterile aeration techniques. in the fermentation broth. He brought in the doctor who could carry out experiments with the animals. He had the microbiologist working together. And it was 12 years after Alexander Fleming discovered the penicillin that penicillin could actually be used as a treatment. And that is why the Nobel Prize was not awarded to only Alexander Fleming, but it was shared with Florey and Chain also. And unfortunately, because of the rule of the Nobel Committee that it can be given maximum to 3, unfortunate part was Hitler missed on the Nobel Prize. But that is very, very important. Now all these people, they did the science which was a collaborative interdisciplinary science for the benefit of the society. It was for the benefit of mankind. And when you are carrying out such kind of research, that is the most effective research. That is what is going to give you the great satisfaction. And while you are carrying out this research, it is very important that you document. Not only document, but you share your knowledge with everyone who's available, who's there in the field. I will give a story of great Dr. C.V. Raman. You know, Dr. C.V. Raman, he carried out his experiment and he observed the phenomenon of light changing color and bending its path, and the Raman effect was studied. Very interesting part. But you know what he did? He discovered that on 27th of February, and in the first week of March, he communicated note to the nature. Just 1 week, as soon as he got those observations, along with him, his student was working. Krishnan was his name. They did this research in ISCS in Kolkata. And when they were carrying out these studies, he realized Krishnan was still a little apprehensive. He wanted to take time, confirm this. But C.V. Raman was absolutely sure about his research, about his observation, about the explanation. So he wrote a note and that paper was published in the Nature. What is importance of this particular one? Was he in too much of hurry? No. It was the time when Dr. Middleton in Russia, along with that other guy, they were Middleton and some other guy, I forgot his name. 2 of the Russian scientists were also working on the same area. And their finding, mind you, in their lab notebook were recorded on 21st of February, while C.V. Raman recorded it on 27th of February. If Dr. C.V. Raman had not communicated the paper, which Russians never did, they took a long time and they took almost 7 months after C.V. Raman's paper. And that is why Nobel Prize was given only to C.V. Raman and not to the Russian scientists. Now that is the importance of documentation, that is the importance of sharing your knowledge with the world, and that also is important that how confident you are about your research finding. If at all you are able to explain that phenomenon the way Dr. C.V. Raman did, the way the Russians couldn't do it, that prize could have been a different story. And mind you, it happened in 1930. 1930, that way, is a very interesting year in the history of Nobel Prize, because 1930 was the same year when Nobel Prize was given to Landsteiner, who discovered the blood groups. It was the same time when I believe the American literate Nobel laureate, he was given the Nobel Prize in the literature for humor writing. It was the first one from United States to get a Nobel Prize in literature, and it was the first instance when the humor writing received a Nobel Prize. It was a very interesting year and a lot of things happened during that particular time. During this period, you also have to remember that many times there are failures. As great Thomas Alva Edison has written, when he was inventing the electric bulb, there were 10,000 times he failed. And when someone asked him about this, there is a famous quote, those 10,000 times were not the failures. They told me 10,000 ways of how not to create the electric bulb. And that is what is very important for all of us to remember. And also, the minor observations that you would make during your PhD research are something that you all must remember and note down. As Robert Wilson and Penzias, they discovered the microwave radiation. So they were working with the radio antenna and they were continuously getting that noise, background noise. And nobody knew what it was. They recalibrated, they brought in the new antenna. Every time they did it, they still recorded that background noise, and later on they were able to discover that it was actually the microwave radiation, which turned out to be the evidence for the Big Bang theory later on used, and that is how they got the Nobel Prize for that. So something which you believe is a noise can also be an important discovery, important finding, and that is why you all must remember that. I will not take much time here, but I would just congratulate you once again for making the great choice in choosing this institute as a place of your research. Also, I congratulate for the great success you have had so far, and I believe this is just the stepping stone towards the few great career that you are going to have. And I would like to give you few words of advice to go, because I have a gray hair and it gives me a right to always share a word of wisdom. I don't know how good it is, but remember this: always engage with your mentors. Many times it happens that there is a gap of communication between guide and student. That should never happen. It doesn't matter how serious your mentor is, how busy your mentor is, how well accomplished your mentor is. As his student, it is your duty to communicate and engage with him. Collaborate very widely. Never ever believe. Forget, research is not like toothbrush. Your toothbrush you will not share with anyone. But neither your research nor infrastructure, not instrument, nothing is your own. Unless and until you share it, you will not prosper very well. Communicate with clarity. Develop communication skills. I know for many of us, and for almost all of us, English is not our mother tongue, but we have to communicate in English. And always Hindi is being promoted, but English happens to be the language in the science. And if that is the language, we have to develop our communication skills, verbal as well as written. And it is very important that you develop it, because only when you communicate effectively, then only you will be able to, if I may use that term, sell your findings, sell your research, sell yourself as a prospective candidate. Also, learn continuously. It is never too late to learn anything. Never ever say that, oh my goodness, now I already am a PhD student, and why do I need to learn something as basic as this? It is never too late. Always run, always learn. And what is most important is maintain balance in your life. It is not only about work. Work can also be fun. Start taking pleasure in every symbol. If you run Agaro's jail and you get a very good band or result, take a great pride in it. Be happy, be excited about it, and always enjoy life. There is always time to socialize. There is always time to sit over a cup of coffee and have chat with even the strangers in the institute, because only when you start talking to everyone, you are going to develop that ability, you are going to learn something new, and you never know that who's going to give you what interesting clue, and that would take your research few steps. I still remember I was struggling during my postdoc. Used to work in autoimmune diseases, and I was struggling a lot. And at that time, one of my senior colleagues who was traveling in United States, he called me for a coffee on the airport, Dallas Airport in Washington DC. I went to meet him there. And for 2 hours, we just had chat till he caught the next connecting flight. And he suggested 2 experiments. And once I came back, I did those experiments, and you know what? I got a paper in Journal of Experimental Medicine in those days. So that is something which is very important. So when you start talking to people, communicate very effectively, that is how you will do that. And we have very high expectations from you, because you are future of science. You are going to create innovations, and that is going to take the name of this institute to a higher level. So I wish you all the best, and thank you for choosing this institute. Congratulations, all the best, do well. May God bless you forever and everywhere. Thank you.